Okay, let's kickstart this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gaurav Yadav. For the benefit of all of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome to IPN India's Leadership Series with School Leaders, episode 4. Uh, as a matter of fact, I'm sure all of you are largely aware what we've been trying to do at the IPN level. But then, having said this, I will take this opportunity of quickly sharing a couple of key points about IPN and what is the core mission on and the vision of IPN. So back in 2016, when I started IPN, the core idea, and it still remains the core idea of IPN, is to ensure there's a knowledge exchange or best practices sharing among school leaders across the country, neutral to any board. Now, fast forwarding it 4 years down the line, 5,000 odd leaders on the portal, on the forum, in fact, and I think we stick to our mission and vision, and we've been able to stay relevant to the leaders who've been part of this journey. IPN Leadership Lessons is one such series which we thought of 4 years, in fact, 4 weeks ago, which is primarily about can we learn from the leaders, from the school fraternity, from their varied and, if I may say, diverse experience. When I say this, I say this with complete responsibility for a very simple reason. If you look at the school system in India around, we certainly find three key elements which we are working under IPN, and this series is part of that extension of our core ideology around IPN, which is one is leadership development. So we certainly need a lot more leaders within the school fraternity who will take the mantle forward. And when I say this, taking mantle forward, there is a lot desired with respect to how our teachers or how our in fact leaders, which is the head of institutions, are trained. We may not talk about few exceptions, but we should be making more of a generalization. In that context, I mean, this is more of a cliche, a thought that there is a lot is desired that in direction for that. So when I say a lot is desired, I'm sure we all know that there's a lot of room for improvement for us. The second pillar within the IPN fold is about teacher empowerment. And as cliche as may sound, that everything hinges on the growth of a teacher. If the teacher is good, you all know the exponential growth as institution gets is phenomenal. So that's again a cliche, but we need to understand this somehow. We have to invest a lot on our teachers as well. There's no two way about it, that there is a lot of improvement needed there as well. Okay. Lastly, a very integral pillar in the entire fold of IPN things is student entrepreneurship, which I'm a product of one such thing. I come from a smaller town, but then having said this, when you get an opportunity to start something of your own, obviously we should orient our kids to be doing it. But however, at the same time, I was in the school back in 2001, which was my 12th. I have not seen much of change from where I was till what is happening today. And when I say that there is still a very concerted focus at the school level, wherein we are giving options to the kids about, or we are orienting them about entrepreneurship as a very viable career option. And there are various factors. That's a debatable thing altogether, but that's my observation around it. So I thought of sharing with all of you. So under these three pillars, IPN intends to work, and IPN has been working. And as I said, Leadership Lessons is part of the leadership development program, which we intend to do for the IPN members and people who want to join these sessions largely. So in one such episode of ours, so typically this episodes brings in one of our very distinguished leaders. So in today's session, we have Lieutenant General Surendra Kulkarni, who was retired from the armed forces, but having said this, he's currently the director of Mayo College of Ajmer. Now, obviously, Mayo College doesn't need an introduction. However, for the benefit of all of you, in order to understand that why we value such presence of such distinguished leader on the platform, is that we can actually learn so much from them. General Saab is 4 major degree holders for the matter, masters for that matter, right? So, example, I'm just an MBA and I feel too full about myself, but here is a gentleman who not only rose to the highest ranks of armed forces, but imagine how he invested in his professional growth in terms of his personality development, or if I may say professional development along with it for that matter. He was humble enough to say to me, Gaurav, this is not that I was the only gentleman who was doing it, to which my counter to sir was, I'm certainly sure that not everyone was doing it, sir. Right? So having said this, what I call a two-time Vishish Seva Medal, Ati Vishish Seva Medal as well been conferred on sir, and in fact the highest one, which is the Param Vishish Seva Medal, PVSM, was also conferred on sir for that matter. Okay, so very, very distinguished, and in fact I can say as much as I can, but very distinguished career in the armed forces, plus at the academic level. He is an alumni of Mayo College of Ajmer. While he joined the army, he was in the Armored Corps. So much to learn from. So I'm sure while all of you are here in big numbers, I welcome all of you on behalf of the entire IPN family. First of all, thank you for joining in. I know today, in these days, we have more webinars than bacteria, so I'm sure you're spoiled for options. But I'm sure people who have taken out time to be a part of this session, I truly value your time. Thank you for being with us. So I will quickly, in fact, since sir is very much with us here, I will in fact quickly request sir to be with us in terms of, I'll put sir on spotlight so that all of you can see sir with us. And then, as I have mentioned earlier, that we have a two format, if I may say, two halves broadly for this session. In the first half, I have a few questions for sir. I'll take up those questions. So sir is very much here with us. Yeah. So what I will, in fact, apart from that, as I was sharing, we have people still joining us. So give us some moment. Yeah. Yes, sir. So, and then I'll unmute you, sir, which is obviously at my level. And then we will kickstart this. Give me a moment, sir. If you can unmute yourself now, sir. Yeah, you can unmute yourself as well, sir. Yeah, you are unmuted now. So welcome, sir. Good to have you with us. I'm very, very sure that everyone who is with us, and we will get more people joining us, is looking forward to this session. I formally welcome you once again to the session, which is IPN Leadership Lessons. Good to have you with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Gaurav. And I won't take up time. I'll go straight, wait for your questions and get into the answers, because the faster I stop speaking amongst principals, it's dangerous to talk for too long. I'll wait for the questions, because I think what I have to say I already know. When I hear the questions, I will learn something from that myself.
Sorry,
rather than preach, I would rather learn.
No. That's again a style we have to learn from you. So we are all learning. Thank you very much. So, sir, my question, very fundamental question to start with. I'm sure you must have taken up a lot of battles while you were on the armed field, or while you were in the armed forces, but we all are in a way fighting a very different battle today, which you and all the other school leaders. So if I may quickly ask you, sir, what are the lessons from the armed forces can we bring to the mainstream, if I may say, in the civil society or a civil life, which we can take up while we take up this COVID challenge head on in our current scenario? That's my first question.
Yeah. First and foremost is the issue of planning. In the armed forces and at the higher levels, in fact, there are two branches that look at this. One is the operations branch, which deals with what's happening on a running basis.
Correct.
Something going on at the border, something else is happening. And there will be a planning branch, which is looking ahead and seeing what are the things that we need to prepare for, etc. So anticipation of a possible situation that we may have to deal with is intrinsic to the way the army functions, number one. Number two, linked to this is the fact that there is also a saying in the army that the best of plans last only till the first bullet is fired, which means that with all your planning, the actual situation that unfolds, because it's in the hands of the enemy as to how he behaves.
Correct.
So therefore, how actually it unfolds is not in your hands. And much like we play chess, you sort of plan out that, okay, if my opponent does this, I will do this. If he does this, I will do this. So you've got to cater for contingency. So there's a plan and there are contingencies.
Correct, sir.
This needs to be done in advance. And in the present context, I would like to share this with my colleagues here. And this is very important. Many of us are patting ourselves on the back as to how quickly we responded, how quickly we adapted to technology, how quickly we went into online teaching and all. And this is my first message I would like to leave with you. Technology was already around. Why were you not ready with the tools of technology already? You may not be conducting online. That may be a new thing for you, an online class. But people said, oh, very quickly they learned Microsoft or they learned Google Meet or they learned this and that. Why did the learning start now? Now, where there are disadvantaged schools, I can understand. But there are a large number of schools who have the means and who boast, and I see the advertisements say we have smart classes and we have this and that. Why did those schools not catch on to this? We've had Google and Apple and Microsoft in India for education for quite some years. And they're trying to market themselves hard. Now we are chasing them. So my first point, which is the most important point, is anticipation is the job of a leader. Running operations is of course important, but it's not the most important job.
Excellent. No, absolutely. So just to stay on the same questions, so one is the planning part, right? As you pointed out, or say the anticipation part being the, so if I may say, sir, example, in this case, it was possibly a little difficult for us to even preempt, right? So, or even classifying the magnitude of this problem in our hand. So while we know this, now we are in it, what would have been our follow-up steps of ours? Example, when we know this, we are in the souk now. Example, now what next should be our course of action, if I may say? Yeah.
You see, you don't start learning angling when you're in a pool with alligators. Then your first job is to survive and get out.
Correct.
Why did you land up in this mess is something leaders must ask, because if we don't introspect, we will be hit by the next crisis.
Correct.
Nobody could have predicted a pandemic. Correct. But that the age of disruption was on our head was already known. Correct. Technology had happened around us. The Correct. Smartphone had come more than 10 years ago.
Correct.
Right? Everybody got, like I said, smart classrooms and this and that and various other tools. So why were we, say, whether it's Office 365 or any other system you wanted
Correct.
to use,
Correct.
why were our teachers not adept with it by now?
Correct.
Why did schools not invest in the professional development program?
Correct.
Let me also tell you, because these are fellow leaders,
Correct.
at that point in time, 3 years ago in our school, when we insisted that for 2 months we will conduct this training, teachers were most reluctant because they had to do it in their off hours.
Correct.
Obviously, they couldn't give up their teaching time.
Correct.
And I said, no, we need to do this because this is what is needed. So I was an unpopular guy. And that's another lesson to be learned for a leader. You can't please everyone. And sometimes you got to take the tough call. Now, my same teachers, when they just needed 1 day to refresh teams because they'd done 365 thoroughly.
Correct.
Right? Was now strutting around like peacocks, in full bloom, saying, wow, see, we were ready for this. They were reluctantly dragged into it. Correct. I'm not blaming them at that point in time because the enemy was not at the gates. You didn't feel the problem.
Correct.
See, so this is the big challenge for our leaders, that we cannot wait for the crisis to emerge. It could have been this, it could have been something else. It need not necessarily be this.
Correct.
No one can predict. Who could have predicted it? No one. But that a technology disruption was in the air was very well known. So being skilled with new technologies was very much on the cards.
Correct.
The school which was not ready with it must introspect the leader instead of patting themselves that, okay, once you got run over by the truck, how quickly you jumped up and started walking. That I don't think is something to pat yourself back. You damn well need to do it to survive.
Absolutely. No, no, I think you make a larger point, which I believe, let me, if I may put it in the right context, is that it has only said that we were reacting to a situation all the time. It's time we start being a little proactive on things for that matter. So having said this, technology, as you rightly pointed out, internet is not today's phenomena. Smartphone is not today's phenomena. And for that matter, smart classroom is not today's phenomena. However, it was lying as a normal hardware in our school, which we possibly never valued, if I may say, right? So I think you make a very, very valid point. And on those lines, I will in fact not say, but I will request school leaders. Now, a lot of them, I am taking this liberty of sharing this with you, that maybe we are thinking that, okay, these online classrooms are a 6-month phenomena. Once this is off the bag, we will pack our bags and we will go back to the physical setup largely all over again. Like normal, the new normal will be back in the action, which is a physical teaching, if I may say, right? So I think at the same time, when I say this, one of the lessons, if Janan Saab, if you can point out if I'm saying right or not, is that we possibly will have to make technology our biggest ally. Is that right? Possibly in the times ahead, right? What do you say?
No, we must make it our ally. We, we must become technology enabled, but we should not become technology enslaved.
Enslaved, yes.
Currently, in the present phenomenon, I'm noticing people are becoming technology enslaved. Suddenly, this is the magic wand which is solving all your problems.
Correct.
The job of a teacher is to focus on pedagogy.
Correct.
Technology is merely a tool in your hands.
Correct.
Correct. So, therefore, these tools are already in your hand. You are not using it because of inertia, because it needed you to move. Now you are pushed into the deep end of the pool. You have to start swimming.
Correct.
Right? Now, having done it, you are finding that there were certain pluses in the way you taught in the physical environment. Correct. There are certain pluses in the way you teach in the cyber environment or in the internet and in the offline or the online environment, right?
Correct. Correct.
For a teacher or a leader, now is the time to grasp what are the pluses of the online style of teaching, what are the pluses of the offline style of teaching, and in the way forward, blend both those, even when you're in physically back in school.
Correct. Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So tap the best of both, number one. Number two, we are now grappling with this present crisis in majority of the slightly better off schools quite well. I have not heard, and I attend webinars 2 to 3 a day, as you said, it's an death by web, infodemic, is it death by infodemics, if not by pandemic. The fact is, I'm not hearing anybody telling me that how are they preparing their team for a potential crisis 4 years, 5 years down the road.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Not a single mention, because we're still at the bottom of the water trying to get our heads out and breathe.
Correct. Correct.
And merely happy that we survived.
Correct.
Right? So it's like Noah's Ark right now. You don't know this funny wooden vessel with holes in it, but we haven't drowned, so we're damn happy with life.
Correct.
But the fact is, I'm sorry, it's my style of speaking, I'm direct and it sounds harsh, but the reality is, I've not heard in a single webinar anybody talking about, yes, there are cliches and jargon thrown around, new normal, we have to live with this and all that. Fine. What implementable steps are we working on?
Correct.
What pedagogical are we doing? For example, when we conduct a webinar, of course, this is large numbers, but when you conduct a more interactive webinar, and most classrooms sizes are manageable with the numbers that we have in the better schools.
Correct.
Right? Are we going to incorporate this? Even earlier, we knew that you don't have to stand there and address 30 kids in rows and columns.
Correct.
Right? But now we've been pushed into it. Having been pushed into it, are we going to conduct this webinar style even in the live space?
Correct.
Are we going to have breakout sessions like you have breakout rooms in MS Teams and all? Are we going to have breakout rooms in the classrooms also?
Yeah, you're right.
No, I'm not hearing this.
Yes. No, your point. Yeah. Absolutely. I take your point very well, in fact, sir. Yeah.
So that is something, I'm just leaving thoughts for consideration.
Yeah, this is worth pondering, in fact, which is why...
answers, but another message I want to leave, which I tell my teachers, the job of the teacher currently and in the future is to ask the right questions.
Let me just check. You got muted? Give me a moment. I don't know how it happened, but let me.
Yeah, so the job of teacher today and tomorrow is to ask the right questions and point the student in that direction, not to give the right answers which can't be questioned, which was the culture when I was a student.
Okay. Yes. Very well said, sir. In fact, correct.
Have been forced upon us, so let's now take advantage of it.
Good. So moving on. In fact, I think this is. I mean, you've given us enough food for thought, if I may say, and obviously we will all put our own contextual relevance to it. And having said this, but the larger message is that somehow everything was around us. Somehow we were, if I may say, we were complacent enough to use it, if I may say, in the right way. And suddenly, when we are stuck with it, for that matter, now we are in a way grappling with it, and hopefully we will come little wiser out of it. I think, if I may say, that's the only lesson we can draw back from this, right? So, I go to a very different question altogether, because as I said, while I was making your introduction as well, I would really request you to elaborate on this for all of us. That you sir, during your stint at the Armed Forces, you invested a great bit on your personal, I mean, if I may say, your professional development, sir. You have a 4 masters with you, all said that. As I said, and for me, one was difficult to do, and you have done 4 for that matter, right? So having said that, I have this question that today leaders, while they become principals or are head of a school, and obviously you are one of them with respect to on the leadership side, what will be your advice to the young leaders in the schooling fraternity who have become principals, say 2 years, 3 years ago for that matter? And if I may say, even those who have been with us for say 10 odd years, you know, sometimes जिसको बोलता है कि अब वो घड़ा भर गया है, जिसको बोलते हैं काफी full हो जाते हैं, हम इसको बोलते हैं, right? So I want you to in fact take up these 2 questions very separately in a way. One question but 2 parts to it. One is to the young leaders, what will be your advice? And obviously you're putting up your academic hat in that one. And the second one is while you become who's who of the world for that matter, which is yet you have to learn, right? That's the message you would possibly be the best person to say about it, right? So please, sir, these 2-part question.
Yeah, it's like this. Which of the colleagues on this forum is not using the phrase lifelong learner in the context of his children or his teachers or himself or herself? If you're using this phrase lifelong learner, then it must apply to yourself.
True.
Right? You've got to be curious. You've got to be curious. You've got to accept that you don't know everything.
Correct.
And learning actually begins when you realize, or you have not realized, everybody knows it, but when you are willing to accept that I don't know it all.
Correct.
That's why I said at the outset, that rather than having a long rambling speeches, I would rather wait for the questions, because I will take away something from that.
Correct.
So what I'm saying is what I already know. There's no learning for me in this.
True.
See,
True.
About being a lifelong learner. Now, for me, I'll tell you, one of the phenomena that all of us talk about for our students also is that in the world they will go into, there's a famous saying about technology that's, not yet being created, jobs that don't exist and old jobs will go. And you have to, in your career, do many jobs and all. Well, in my case, rather late in life, but I switched over to a completely new profession.
Correct.
Now, this might sound unbelievable to people, but in the first 6 months, I did not hold a staff meeting.
Okay.
Because I was the director of the school. If I stood there and said, look, I would like you to do this way, that way, they would nod their heads and say, yes, sir, because I was the boss.
Correct.
There would be no inner conviction. They'll say, who's the guy who's come yesterday? What does he know? Who did he to tell us? Right?
Correct.
So it's a long time, firstly, to really slog hard and learn for yourself, number one. And number two, not because you're thrusting it down them, when they see in their interactions with you on a running basis that, okay, this guy seems to know a bit about our profession too.
Correct.
After a period of time, like osmosis, they start believing in you, and then you see it's like this. They will listen to you at the surface level because you are the boss.
Correct.
They will follow you when they believe
in you.
That not probably you know what they know, but even more than what they know, because you are seeing a wider perspective which they can't see.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
therefore, similarly, like in my school, I officially announce every time, I'm not the head of the school. I'm only the senior most student. And because I'm an alum myself, I say very proudly in front of my students, yeah, I'm the senior most student of your college today, right? But there is a larger message I'm sending to everybody,
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
particularly to my faculty. I said, since I am your student, you are my
Correct.
teacher, I'm demanding the best from you. You have to
Absolutely.
give me the best. Nothing less than that will suffice. Now
Absolutely.
that puts pressure on the teachers. Of course, you have to relieve the pressure in other ways, but it definitely puts professional pressure on them. And you mentioned a phrase, striving for excellence. I hate that phrase. When I was in the army, and I remember as a senior officer myself, and the army chief had put up these posters all over the place about striving for excellence. And I used to say, what's wrong with our chief? And I can say it in open forum because I said it then as well. The reason being, when you're striving for excellence, it's like a young guy chasing a girl. He can keep chasing her for a lifetime. He'll never get her. So you got to decide that for me, excellence is a start point.
Oh my God.
And
Okay.
now let's get to excellence and now look beyond. Let's see, okay, beyond excellence, mere se baat karo.
Not
So
bad.
therefore, for example, not very frequently, but every time we change our pedagogy in school, each teacher is required to come and share one lesson plan with me. Just one.
Correct.
Otherwise I don't interfere. I trust them fully. I don't even go to their classroom. But when they come to me with that, let me tell you, I've been around for more than 5 years. Not a single teacher has been able to get, after repeated iterations, a single lesson plan past me.
Brilliant.
Not
Brilliant.
because it's not good, it's
Correct.
outstanding.
Correct.
But I said, good is not good enough.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So today, initially, they used to have long faces and all. Today, the teachers take it in their stride. They understand that this is being done to polish them up. This interaction between them and me privately, going on. And when that finished product, when they go elsewhere and speak, then
Okay.
they speak with great conviction. They speak, with deep understanding, and that makes them feel better about themselves. And then that leads to one thing leads to another kind of thing. So it's very important that this lifelong learner culture, you've got to walk the talk. You
Absolutely.
can't only have cliches.
Correct.
And let me tell you, you can fool your bosses. I've been in the army at both ends. You can fool your bosses very easily. You can never fool your subordinates. And as
True.
heads of
True.
schools, you've got to be very careful that any aura you create about yourself,
Correct.
people who are serving with you, your teachers, admin staff and all, can see you through and through.
Correct. Absolutely. No, very, very well said, sir. In fact, you made us, all of us think, at least I, for sure, for me, that we need to peg things a little higher, if I may say. We are keeping our benchmarks a little lower, if I may say, right? Excellence should be the starting point, not the end for that matter, right? Very nice, very nice. In fact, as I said, you are a disruptive thinker. I think you are you are a disruptive thinker, and absolutely, you try to bring the best out of people, and that's what a leader truly does for that. Fantastic. So I have one last question, sir, which is, as I said, and you already have given me enough signals that you want to answer more questions rather than being preachy about your own the problem with us, sir, is in this context is right now, if I may really point out, it's sometime because you have been seeing both the worlds, if I may say, from a very disciplined armed forces life to a little, I call them snowflake generation. This is a little sissy world, if I may say. Why have what we've seen of lately, and may sound a little offbeat a question, but I'm still asking you, a lot of the kids, or in India, the culture of joining the armed forces has somehow disappeared. And you really pointed out when we were discussing this offline about it. But I would really want you that if we have to bring this as a culture back, or if we have to say inspire them, obviously we're not thrusting upon them this thing. How can we inspire them to take up the armed forces by any chance?
You see, I'll just first give the couple of reasons I mentioned to you earlier,
Correct.
but I will go a little beyond that when I address
Sure,
my colleagues.
Sure, sir.
First is, of course, that there's a culture of softies amongst the parents, not the students.
Okay.
Right? Their grandparents, present children's grandparents struggled and either made a business or made a career or made a life for themselves. Their own parents, at least in my school, the parents have not faced the same degree of hardship or same degree of struggle in life to get where they are.
True.
So they feel that, look, when we were young and our parents struggled and made us come up and all, we now have the means and capacity to give the good life to our children. So let's why send them into a career which is dangerous, which takes them far away from home, and various other similar things. But as I mentioned to you, if you see the casualty rate in the armed forces, it's much lower than the accident rate in any city anywhere in the country.
Correct.
I don't think anybody who's joining the army is getting scared or funked of it. The real problem that is coming is in two places. One problem is in terms of those who are bright. And the army doesn't need geniuses.
Correct.
What you need are people who are committed to a way of life for a lifetime.
Correct.
So you don't need geniuses. So the army, I often used to tell people, I said, is the perfect safe haven for mediocres. And a shining example of how far I got through that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But I'm saying at the same time, you see, if you are today at age of 30, 35, you can be a CEO of a big company. In the army, you have to go through the hierarchy. When your turn comes, your batch is considered. And if you're good, you'll be promoted. And then you wait your turn for the next time and all.
Correct.
So there is a sense of impatience that sometimes you may think your boss is a fool, which happens in many organizations. But there you have to suffer him more than you have to suffer elsewhere because you work together all the time.
Correct.
On the lighter side, or not lighter, it is actually a serious side. On the family side, today, because the girls are also so well educated and professionally very competent, their career opportunities are not in small towns and remote areas where the armed forces send their officers.
Correct.
So it disrupts your family life. Now, mind you, in the good old days, when people went out to field, they had to write these postcards or they had to write inland envelopes, as they were called those days. And you had no phones, nothing. And in that era also, families managed well. But today, in this instant communication world, if you're not physically together as a family, then you feel that, look, you're missing out on something.
Correct.
So you'd rather do a corporate job in Gurgaon and your wife and you both work in, say, wherever you work.
True.
Your wife can, in fact, have a career and perhaps even go further. I'm sure there are many colleagues and there are many ladies on this forum who may have links in the armed forces or their husbands may be there. And they will understand what I'm saying, that if they have to push their careers, they have to forego some aspects of family life in the process.
Correct.
So these are some of the challenges. But let me also tell you that there is a social angle to this. 50, 100 years ago, the families who sent their children to the armed forces, not as soldiers, but as officers,
Correct.
for the landed gentry, highly educated, could speak English. If they were in the armored coach or the horse cavalry those days, you brought your own horses,
Correct. Correct.
In England, there was a system of buying your commission, so to speak. You could become an officer if you belonged to some Dutch or, if you're the Duke of some place and stuff like
Correct.
that. Today, in the egalitarian Indian society, this no more applies. So you will find even in the IS or foreign service and other places, you will find students pass their exams through the vernacular route. They don't have to speak English to make progress.
Correct.
See, so the kind of people who are coming in to the armed forces, they are from 2, 3, even 4 tier 4 towns.
Correct.
And they seemingly may not appear to be so articulate and smart, but they make very good soldiers and they're making excellent officers. And if you watch the news on a daily basis, the ratio of officers casualties to men casualties is exceptionally high in India because the young men are leading the troops from the front.
Absolutely.
See, so we should not have this socio-cultural bias against them.
Correct.
Family does he come from? And psychologically, we tend to have this, unfortunately.
Correct. No, I think you answered it very well, and because you gave a complete context to it as well, that where is this coming from largely, if I may say. Fantastic.
Can I just say one more word about discipline, since you mentioned the armed forces and discipline?
Please, sir.
The armed forces is valued for its collective discipline. As a body of people, a platoon or a company or whatever. And therefore, group discipline is valued in the army.
Okay.
And people ask me, you are a former army man, do you you must be really imposing tough discipline in school. I said, yes, I do, but definitely not the army kind. I hate it. And I'm saying it as a former man, I hate it because group discipline is no way to produce leaders of tomorrow.
Okay.
Each guy must think for himself, chalk out his own course. And therefore, they need a high level of discipline, but this is self-discipline. And I'm telling you, and I'm saying this with full honesty, the highest form of self-discipline in humanity that you can find is that of a mother. You'll never find a mother sending the kid off without a tiffin to the school. Have you ever heard of it?
Not at all. Not at all.
आज tiffin बनाने का मन नहीं कर रहा है. Have you ever heard of it?
Never.
Even mothers exhausted, tired, and let's say even when I was, well grown up and well into the army, and if I came home, my mother was also elderly. She was not really in the best of health. But if I came home, and she would, rush to the kitchen to make things for me, even if she was dog tired. I mean, that is self-discipline.
Absolutely.
Right?
Very well said, sir. Very well said. Absolutely.
So if we can instill that, and linked to this, I want to make another point, which is slightly colloquial. We all talk about wealth. Wealth not only in financial terms, but we look at wealth as such. And I mean, wealth spelled as W-E-A-L-T-H.
Correct.
But when I was growing up, in my family, I was taught a different spelling of wealth, which was V-E-L-T-H. The V for values, the E for the education, and the rest of it was health. If you have these things in the correct proportion, the values, your education, and your health. Well, obviously, if you have no health and you're dead, then there's no good anyway. But from home comes the values, and it's your business to get the education.
Correct.
That's why when my parents sent me to Mayo College, they sent me so that I will get my education.
Absolutely.
Right? See, the values they provided from home, and of course the school also instilled values. But I'm saying this version of wealth I like to speak about. It's spelled as V-E-L-T-H. That value.
No. I think we will propagate on IPN for sure. This is very strong.
This comes into place. I think we will do better than what we are doing for the next generation of kids.
Well said, sir. No, very well said. In fact, as I said, we are already 10 past the 30-minute mark, in fact, if I may say. But having said this, I'll unmute all. And in a way, I'll just give you a moment. No. Give me a moment, sir. Give me a moment. Yeah. So what I've done is now, ladies and gentlemen, I have muted you in a way that now you can unmute yourself if you have a question. Obviously, how we will go about doing that is that you can have a show of hand if you have a question, and then we can let you know if you can ask that question. Okay. So I will just show you the reactions, or if you can put it on a. So I think if you can show your hand, raise your hand, or possibly indicate through the reaction bit, right? Which is example like a thumbs up, right? So let me, Poonam Rathore, if you can ask your question, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, very, very good evening, everyone. And I'm so happy to see Colonel Kulkarni amongst us. Sir, I just wanted to know, as for teachers, even for the school leaders, discipline has become a big issue, because when we think for the discipline, we find that, children, because of the, we can say, social media, or maybe they are very much pampering. So neither the teachers can do anything for the discipline part, nor the school leaders can do. So if you can advise something which could be very unique, which generally would help everyone to go ahead with this thing, sir.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, for your question. In my time, there was a simple saying, spare the rod and spoil the child. So if you didn't behave, you got 2 tight slaps and you never behaved after that. Times have changed. Times have changed. You will be in jail if you did that today. So you can't do that. Okay. Which is why I'm again coming back to this issue of self-discipline. Instilling self-discipline in that child is your best hope. Now, it is a slower process than lagawing to thappad, by far. Okay. Now, number 2, the approach to what we call discipline. I will give you an example. One day, soon after I'd come, and I was not going to see what teachers teach in class as a matter of principle. I don't do this. It's a matter of trust. I expect my management to believe what I'll do my work, and I believe my teachers will do their work. And if they don't, students say, "Pata hi chal jayega," if they don't do their work. So, soon after I came, I went to see some administrative thing. Do we have enough lighting in the classes, etc., etc. And I went into one of the classes, and suddenly the teacher said, "Shh," and then they saw me, and everybody hushed up, and there was some laughter and all going on in the class. And as we were walking out, my then vice principal told me, he says, "Sir, I'm sorry, these guys were, chatting away and not focused on the class when you came. But we'll make sure it doesn't happen in future." I felt very sorry for my vice principal. I said, "He's missed the point. If there is chatting, yelling, shouting in the class, there is some interaction going on. There is some brain activity going on. If they are sitting in rows and columns like dodos, तो कौन सी पढ़ाई हो रही है?" So at the same time, ma'am, they must know that when is the time to shut up.
Exactly.
When is the time for mutual respect? जब हमारा annual day होता है या prizes distribute वगैरह होते हैं, they have to wear, there is a certain formal uniform type of thing that they wear with a safa and all. They all know कि उस time safa पहनना है. Or if they have to come on stage to collect the prizes, they know they have to have a haircut. Baki time they will try their best to delay their haircut and grow their hair long.
Very true.
So it is a matter of creating this trust. And unfortunately, teachers perceive it as a loss of control.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So today I will tell you, people will not listen to you because they are scared of or they fear you. Because you can't do anything to them in terms of punitive action. But if retribution is your approach to dealing with that child, how are you going to make him a leader of the future? So I'll tell you, now we are having these online classes. We finished our phase 1 of academics. By the end of this week, we are finishing co-curriculars and sport. But there is a series on value education, which I'm taking myself directly.
Great.
No second teacher. Why? And this is an ongoing series. It can't end because value education can never end. There is no term for value education.
Very true.
Right?
Right, certainly, sir.
Value education, as I said, is a very slow process. I'll give you a question which I posed to my parents, right? And you'll be surprised from the answers, and I'm willing to share my summary of my data that came back. I asked them a question. I said, "You're at home with your child. Ask your child. You must be thinking your child is a very well-behaved, angelic child. All mothers believe that my child is bichara, bola wala hai." So I said, okay. Instead of asking a negative question, instead of saying, what are the wrong things you think he should not do? I said, which are the 5 unethical things your child will never do? Ask him to write down 5 things. And since you know your child so well, which you claim that you know better than we do, you write down 5 things also. And after you've written it independently, compare notes. Okay, ma'am?
Yes,
sir. You'll be surprised. Majority, hardly anybody got more than 3 out of 5. Okay.
This is,
what is in the child's mind and how much is in the parents' mind? And about a positive thing, कि मेरा बच्चा लाडला बच्चा करेगा नहीं. We are in this internet era. We are online. We are in cyberspace most of the time. There is no restriction on device time, partly forced by us.
Yes, sir.
And otherwise. So I posed them a supplementary question. I said, out of the 5 things that your son wrote that he'll never do unethically, and 5 things you thought your son will never do unethically, please tell me, was the issue of cyber bullying, cyber trolling, and cyber abuse, any of these kind of things, cyber related matter, amongst one of the 5 things that your child wrote or you wrote about? Again, I'll show you the figures, ma'am. 85%, neither party mentioned it. I will never do any unethical thing in the cyberspace. It is a blind spot. उसके बारे में जिक्र ही नहीं किया. So either they have the blind spot, or they feel कि इसमें, because it's anonymous and you're hidden, आप कुछ भी कर सकते.
Very true.
So that child will never get the correct value system. But that means they are worried. Or neither it is in their consciousness nor in the parents' consciousness. 85%. There was a 0 by the side. Are you understanding how much of a disconnect is with today's children.
Exactly.
And I hear every principal, every teacher, I mean, they tell me, sir, the kind of connect my teachers have with their kids, it's amazing, Here is an example of amazing.
Yes.
The mother doesn't know their own child. How will the teacher know their child that well? Okay, then I gave them, I said, okay, I'm giving you a cyber safety manual, which is there available in the public domain. I sent it, I said, both of in the family discuss it and let your child go through it. Then last week I've given them, to some of them a quiz. Yesterday, some more would have given. I said, every child must go through that quiz. Okay, what will happen in the process? Their focus will be brought towards cyber safety. I'm not saying kal cyber crime nahi karenge, but at least unka dhyan akarshit kar rahe hain na hum.
Exactly.
So, ma'am, the trouble is, I'm sorry, majority of teachers want that the old system of disciplining in which they grew up should be the system of disciplining used for, getting the thing. I can promise you this, and I'm saying this with openly and with conviction. Class 12 boys, who are the senior guys and supposedly, most difficult to deal with. It's an open challenge in my school. They can tell a lie up to my headmaster, who's number 2. And I've not had a case of a single boy coming to my office and lying.
Because they trust you.
Yeah, there is that aura that telling him the truth is a better option than telling him a lie.
Exactly.
If you tell me the truth, it doesn't mean I'll pardon you. But if you tell a lie, I'll give you 5 times the consequences you will face. And I said, more than that, trust will be lost.
Exactly.
So tomorrow I have to give you some responsibility. I will not give it to you because you're not trustworthy. You want to be the trusted person? Understand. I've explained to children in the few times that I address them, not often, that the single biggest ability, and I've asked this to many people in the education field. I'm sorry, hardly anybody gives me this answer. Of course, there can be many answers. I'm not saying no. But I ask them, which is the one single biggest ability you want in your child? And the answer that I propose or recommend is dependability.
Dependability, yes.
आप मुझे बताइए, in your school, if you are the head of the school, if there's an issue and you need to get someone to attend to it, आपके मन में कोई टीचर का नाम आएगा?
नहीं sir, because everyone need one or another assistant or the support.
बताइए, आपके मन में किसी टीचर का नाम आएगा? या अगर आपके 50 टीचर है, 50 के नाम आ जाएंगे?
नहीं होगा. किसी एक का आएगा या तो?
हाँ, तो जिसका भी आएगा, that is the dependable person.
Yes.
So you have to make every child, every teacher try and get into that slot. अब मैं जो आपसे कह रहा हूँ कि कहने में आसान है, सुनने में आसान है, करने में इसमें बहुत परिश्रम करना पड़ता है. You have to persevere with it. You have to accept failures along the wayside.
Yes, sir.
On day 1 suddenly वो switch नहीं है कि on कल से बच्चे शरीफ बन जाएंगे. शरीफ नहीं बनेंगे, but they will know कि line कहाँ पे है. और इस लाइन को मैं पार नहीं करूंगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैंने एक बच्चे को पूछा एक दिन, he was found smoking. अच्छा, टेल मी, आपके घर में where you live joint family, I said okay, there must be a room where आपकी फैमिली में पूजा वजा करते हैं. हाँ. मैंने कहा, बताओ, will you ever smoke in that room even when you are 60 years old? No sir. अच्छा भाई, कहीं लिख के तुम्हें दिया था कि this is a code for you, you are not allowed to smoke in the puja area? नहीं sir, how can I smoke there? I said, that's what it is. In your life, you have to decide your own lines. This is what I will do and this I will not do. And ultimately, जब वो self discipline आएगी ना मैम, all your problems will be solved.
Yes sir, thank you very much sir.
In fact, very, very self discipline is the way forward, Poonamji, right? So
yes sir, thank you.
I will quickly read out the sequence of questions I have. Lekhraj, you will go next. Your question is next. You can unmute yourself. Priya Sangwan goes second. Mr. Pramod Sharma, you will go third, and Miss Anubha Srivastava, you will be fourth. This is the sequence of question. Lekhraj, please ask your question. Yeah. You can unmute yourself.
Sir, good evening to you all.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Kulkarni sir. My simple question is that in this pandemic time, how to survive? So many teachers are there, so many class 4 employees are there. You did so many wonderful sessions with us. Thank you, IPN especially. We learned a lot through these online classes.
Lekhraj, aap kahan se hain? Bataiye thoda sa.
Basically, sir, I'm from Himachal Pradesh. It's a very remote area. In my village, there is no road right now. But I work in Hisar, Haryana. Still, my school is 35 years old.
Okay.
And the problem right now is we are facing how to give payment to our employees, because all eyes are towards the management, and management is clearly saying that fees is not coming, tuition fees is not coming, annual charges are not coming. How we can survive? How we can give you? So this is what I want to know from Mr. Kulkarni, sir. How can we exist in this pandemic time? Though we have lots of conversation on effective communications, though our tuition fees is coming regularly, but management has their own saying. Class for employees, sweepers, peons, and teachers. I have 162 staff with me, those who are working with me. To how to satisfy them, sir? This is my basic question.
No, ये आजकल का mood question है. Basic question.
I heard you saying that you are getting fees regularly. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. But वो उस रेशो में नहीं आ रही है कि क्योंकि management is saying कि we were getting 10 lakhs per month. Now it is 25,000 rupees per day. How we can give it to you? So छंटनी हो रही है. And today one driver came to me. He was crying, sir, how would I exist? Because I was getting only 12,000 and 1,500 from this school, and I have no earning at all. The management is clearly saying that, sir, how can we survive? So I just want to know how we can collect the minimum fees so that sabka bread and butter chalta rahe, sir, in this pandemic time. This is a very hard time for the teachers, for the staff members, especially those who are working in the private schools.
Your question is very valid. It's a very tough question, tough times. But let me tell you, one of the things that has happened, unfortunately, you said a lot of communication, but one area of miscommunication, may not be in your school, but in many schools it has happened.
Okay, sir.
That the teaching fraternity has tried to convey to parents that this is a transactional thing, that fees have to be paid because we are conducting online education for your children. See, fees are not paid only for online education. Do you understand? Fees
Okay, sir.
are paid because schooling is continuing.
Right.
Understand that, all right, कि अगले 2 साल अगर schools don't reopen, will you set your child back by 2 years in school? The answer is, when we speak to parents, the answer is no. So we have to, and I'm afraid amongst us only we made this mistake of equating teachers are working so hard, they are having so many difficulties, extra काम कर रहे हैं, ये सब सच है. And because वो online teach पढ़ा रहे हैं, तो इसलिए फिर आप फीस दीजिए. मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि parents have to be told that they have to have a long-term relationship with the school. जो मैं आपसे कह रहा हूँ दोबारा, it's not an easy thing, but I'm telling you the approach that needs to be taken is, yeah, your child is with us, okay, ये बच्चा आपकी property है. आपने हमें इसके लिए पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी दे रखा है कि आप हमारे बच्चे को सिखाओगे, संभालोगे. पूरी जिम्मेदारी आपके पास नहीं है, बट पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी है. Therefore, अगर आपने हमें पावर ऑफ अटॉर्नी दे रखी है, तो क्या उसकी पढ़ाई आज अचानक से बंद हो गई है, या will schooling and education continue? Therefore, even as our child is not physically with us, we are finding alternate means to keep connected with the child. The emphasis should be on the connection. We are emphasizing on the online transaction. कि मैंने 4 लेसन ऑनलाइन पढ़ा दिया तो अब मेरे फीस दे दो आप, या मेरे टीचर्स ने एक्स्ट्रा मेहनत करके लेसन प्लान बनाया तो आप फीस दे दो. So there is a communication gap, number 1. Number 2 is that there is an American airline called Southwestern Airline, and it is an airline when an airline industry has been running on very poor margins for so many years, and large number of airlines have vanished or suffered heavy losses. Continuously, this airline had been making profits. And one particular year, after 26 years of making profit, they had a very bad year in aviation. I think in 2008, there was a recession and all that. And because the CEO's communication with the staff on a running basis, I'm not saying now in the pandemic or with parents, your communication with parents has to be on a running basis. Aaj pandemic ho gaya, to aap keh rahe hain, we reach out to our parents. I'm not saying aap, but some of the schools.
Okay, no problem, sir. Please.
It's not about you. I'm saying a general problem. So,
yeah.
If this communication had been going on, so because he was communicating, correct? So he said, all right, we are going to have so many forced holidays. I will not sack anybody, but there will be forced holidays. You take furlough, right? Now, over a period of time, because they trusted him, the employee started even negotiating, okay, I don't need so many days of work. I'm quite well off. You can take 5 days work from me. I will take the 5 days furlough, or I will take your holiday now. You take my holiday later. The end result was, in that particular year of the recession, the only airline in America which still made a profit was Southwest Airlines. And all he told them was, your target, each of you, is to make $5 per month for this company, or whatever, $5 per day, or some calculation. Very simple, very easy to achieve figures. Okay. And so it had to be a community effort. So therefore, if a cut has to be taken on this, if you see whatever pool of money you have in your school, then the pain has to be shared by everyone, down to the last driver. The first decision we took when the pandemic happened was, if baki kuch ho na ho, the class 4 employees will get their full pay. And many of them,
yes, sir, exactly.
And many of them, though we are a boarding school, they would come from outside to work, and they could not come to work. So some people said, जो अंदर है वो तो काम कर रहे हैं, जो बाहर से उनको भी वही तनख्वाह मिल रही है. I said, look, at this time the pain is equal. Don't compare.
Exactly.
Don't compare the pain with the work you are doing. So we will give them full salary. When time comes, we will see what to do, how to compensate each other. And therefore, if let us say, nobody has asked from my management so far, but I will be the first one to take a cut, in fact, disproportionate cut, because at different levels, if a man is getting, as you said, 2,000 rupees, his capacity to accept a cut vis-a-vis a person getting, say, 2 lakhs or 1 lakh rupees will not be the same and survive for the next few days. Correct? So therefore, if you see all our people as a community, and you have to have this dialogue with your management as well. If your management is seeing your school as a business, then I suggest, जब भी ये pandemic खत्म हो जाएगा, please look for a next school, because this is not a good environment to work in. No, you understand what I'm saying? Because
no, so they are helping a lot, but at their own end, they are saying that, sir, please search someone also.
General reply, not only to your school.
Yeah, exactly, sir. You are very right.
If you feel that your management, I often tell people who come to me, if you want to start a school, go advice chahiye. I tell them, first answer one question. Do you want to have an alternate channel of business, or do you want to set up an institution? If you want to set up an institution, उसमें भी आप पैसे कमाओगे, उसमें कोई हर्ज नहीं है. But then the approach will be entirely different to that of just doing business. Because उसमें सिर्फ आप मुनाफा ही देखते रहोगे. And the day things go bad, you will shed your employees, you will shut down the school also if required. Let me tell you today, some of the well-known boarding schools and others in England have shut down. Because some of them were dependent on the church and all historically. Church may be asked donation aane band ho gaye and all that. They had no choice but to shut down. Now, if the school shuts down and all, that's one side of the story. But to that poor employee who's working for you, just Safai wala, I'll tell you, in my school we are lucky. There are some guys who are working in class 4 employees, 3rd, 4th generation people. They are like family. Tomorrow, if a child is, say, God forbid, handicapped in your family, do you discard that child? You don't. It is okay in a business environment. Okay. Yesterday I read Emirates has shed 600 pilots. It just sounds okay. You can't do this in a school kind of culture. So you have a very challenging job at one end to tackle parents, other end to tackle your management, and in between to look after your faculty and your staff. But if you manage to pull out of this by minimizing the hardship will be there. There's no question. But if you pull out of this by minimizing the hardship, वो आपको देवता समान मानेंगे. ये मैं आपको guarantee से कहता हूँ.
Yes, that's what we are doing, because I'm getting regular inputs from IPN, from Mr. Gaurav, and from all these activities, all these online sessions we are getting. And I am very happy कि हमारे management, they took our meeting today. They were saying that our school is doing very best in this pandemic time as far as online classes are concerned. So we are doing best जितना हमसे संभव हो सकता है. But next time आपने जो inputs दी, when we will connect next time, Kulkarni sir and Gaurav sir, I'll let you know that things would have been definitely changed.
All the very best, Lekhraj ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Priya Sangwan ji, your question, you can unmute yourself now.
नमस्कार जनरल साहब, आपके इतने सारे एक्सपीरियंस को देखते हुए मुझे लगा ये जो क्वेश्चन मैं पूछने जा रही हूँ ये आपसे पूछना बहुत रेलेवेंट रहेगा। एक्चुअली आज बातचीत के दौरान आपने एक कोट किया कि मदर्स डिसिप्लिन ज्यादा होती हैं रादर देन फादर्स।
नहीं, मैंने पार्डन मी मैम, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अ टीचर, यू मस्ट हियर द क्वेश्चन एंड द आंसर केयरफुली। मैंने फादर का जिक्र ही नहीं किया।
नहीं, मैं आप समझिए,
हाईली सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन, फादर का तो नामो निशान ही नहीं है बीच में।
ही पूछना चाह रही हूँ मैं इसी बात
पूछिए पूछिए, द एटमॉस्फेयर इज गेटिंग टू सीरियस, आई वांटेड टू लाइटन इट।
मैं एक्चुअली आपसे यही पूछना चाह रही हूँ कि फादर्स का तो हाइंडसाइट में भी नामो निशान नहीं है, किसी भी एनेक्डोटल एविडेंस में फादर्स की नाम डिसिप्लिन आता ही नहीं है। मैं बस आपके एक्सपीरियंस को देखते हुए ये जानना चाह रही हूँ ऐसा क्यों होता है? Why only mothers always?
बिकॉज ये अपनी जो संस्कृति है ना इंडिया की,
आई एम आस्किंग।
हाँ, इसमें बीमारी अपनी संस्कृति में है। ओके, ठीक है। जब बच्चा पैदा होता है, किसके लाड प्यार करते हो? नाउ थिंग्स मे बी चेंजिंग, बट इन हिस्टोरिकल इंडियन सोसाइटी व्हाट हैज हैपेंड? बेटे को आप पूरे लाड प्यार करते थे, बेटी को चाहे पढ़ाया नहीं पढ़ाया सेकेंडरी बात थी। यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग संगम मैम, राइट? द होल कल्चर वाज लाइक दैट। लड़की को विदाई में भेजते थे शादी के बाद।
Somewhere we need to change this now.
We need to change, but let me tell you, change is there. I have got grown-up children. Both my son and son-in-law do equal duties with their wives. They clean the houses there, and my daughter lives in the US. There's no question of servants out there. They both do everything. My son-in-law can cook. My son in Bangalore, he can cook. They do everything, everything. But this is the new generation. Let me also confess, I can't. Because I grew up in the Ladla Pyara Mera Beta culture.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
But they have to. And actually, आप देखिए, it sounds harsh, but those of you who are in the teaching profession or any profession are financially independent women. The trouble is, in many of the traditional families, what used to happen, the male was the financial earner and the lady wasn't. So her contribution used to be seen in terms of this non-financial transaction, that she just kept contributing to keep the household going. And this man came home and said, मैं बहुत थका हुआ हूँ, अगर बीवी पूरे दिन थकी हुई है, उसके लिए गुंजाइश नहीं है. So you are very right. I'm hoping, at least I find amongst my staff here, they're also locked in, that I'm finding that not only the husbands, but surprisingly even the children are helping the mothers, जो पहले करते नहीं थे.
Yes.
Anubha Srivastava, your question, ma'am. Anubha ji.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you.
Good evening, General Kulkarni. I am picking from your statements itself, and that takes me back to my very favorite question that I have been trying to work on since my early years of teaching career. What do you think, Kulkarni ji? Should value education be taken up as a subject, as a separate classroom topic, or should it be done gradually along with all the subjects? Should there be a separate book for value education?
No, ma'am. See, value education has to be taught. So the ethics, values are something that can be taught. Today, you can even do a PhD in ethics. But when children are growing up, their best way to learn value and ethics is by watching. At home, in school, their teachers, their peers, their seniors. So in every action that we take, there should be an embedding of this value system. But values and this thing must be taught. Like I gave you the example of the question I've asked my parents and students. What are those things which you think are unethical you will never do? So I'm conducting value education. But it need not be a subject per se. It has to be seen. I'll give one example. आप बोलते हैं कि don't throw litter here and there. We all say it. Then the child sees when you are driving in the car, right? The mother or father roll down the window, ruffle lace का पैकेट खत्म हो गया, बाहर फेंक दिया. Okay. End of your value education on don't throw litter. एक एक्शन में आपने बर्बाद कर दिया पूरा वैल्यू एजुकेशन। सीन या बोलो कोई फोन आता है आपके पास, यू डोंट वांट टू आंसर दैट ऑकवर्ड कॉल, यू टेल द चाइल्ड, बोलते ना मैं घर पे नहीं हूँ। होता है नहीं होता है? लेट्स एक्सेप्ट दीस थिंग्स हैपन, राइट?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
कि यार रास्ते में वो पंक्चर हो गया या गाड़ी लेट आई थी or whatever it is, I'm just saying some excuse, right? So kids learn the most by watching. Why is it that I give you the example, the boy said, sir, I will never smoke in the puja room in my house. Because he's watching from the childhood, the reverence that is given to that puja room. ये लोग चप्पल भी नजदीक लाते नहीं है, हाथ पैर धो के फिर अंदर आते हैं, you know, and पूरे श्रद्धा से वहाँ काम होता है. So he understands that this is the reverence for this place. So he will never do it. So now when you conduct your classes, in your dealing with the children, if you are not ethical, in your dealing with the children, then value education he may get 99 or 100 in the exam. But
Absolutely correct. Absolutely.
That's the wrong thing, ma'am. So it is the culture that has to be created in the school, at home, where, as I told you, that example I gave in my own family when I was growing up, I was told that, friend, don't measure wealth with W, but measure it with V, and you will find it will be okay. Seen?
Right.
That was an example I gave you, a very oversimplistic example, but it gives the concept. So, like, I was taught that jhoot nahi bolna hai. There are times that I used to get punished for it. When my colleagues could get away by, you know, मैंने तो किया नहीं है करके, I was told that कोई बात नहीं, अगर तुमने गलती करी है, own up for it, क्या हो जाएगा? कोई तुमको जान से तो नहीं मार देगा, क्या होगा? So over a period of time, what happened? It became so easy to tell the truth, and I never had to. अच्छा आप झूठ बोलेंगे तो आपको 10 बार सोचना पड़ता है, इस झूठ को कवर करने के लिए अगला क्या झूठ है, फिर अगला क्या झूठ है. I don't have to. I say whatever I feel like, whenever I feel like. I know. Sometimes people ask me if I'm joking, if I pass some joke about the ladies or my wife or something, you know, typical how it happens. So would you say it in the presence of your wife? I said, yeah, I never think twice, and my wife knows it, because I don't have double standards on this.
Right.
Not having double standards is also a deep-rooted value education, isn't it?
Very true. Why I came up with this question was the very concern is that the concept of value is really declining in the society. And when I say that the value has to be imbibed, the instances that are around a child are not very good instances to be imbibed.
Yes, ma'am. At the same time, if he respects you, आपके सामने गलती से भी वो गलत काम नहीं करेगा.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Values, in the eyes of Anubha ma'am, I should be seen to be an ethical and morally upright person. चाहे कहीं और कुछ भी करे मुझे पता नहीं है, आपके सामने नहीं करेगा, मैं आपको भरोसे से कहता हूँ.
Absolutely true. Right.
ठीक बात है कि नहीं? See? So let us say sometimes when you're growing up, your children, you're naughty, you're playing outside, mother says come back by so and so time, you take liberties, late आ गए, उस हमारे जमाने में तो थप्पड़ भी मिलते थे, we took it. But if let's say my grandfather told me कि बेटे शाम को 6 बजे पे घर आ जा, hell or high water, I would have been at home at 6, and my grandfather would not even raise his voice at me, even if I came after 6. I'm
Absolutely.
sure
got your point, sir. Got your point, sir.
All of you have experience of this. Am I right or wrong?
Yes. Very true. Very true.
That is the value education. So it can be taught as separately also, but it must be part of our daily life. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Sandhya Venkatesh, and we have the last 3 questions. Sandhya Venkatesh, Neha Bahuguna, and Sadhana Jha.
Yeah, Gaurav, I can ask my question.
Please, ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Gaurav, for inviting us, and really happy to hear what Colonel had to speak.
General
Quite enlightening. Sir, about discipline, I heard, and let me tell you, in my school, we don't enforce it. Children are well disciplined. They follow self-discipline, sir. And punishment is not there. Our management follows I Care, where we don't punish the children, we don't shout at them. Children are disciplined, they follow norms, what is told to them. So, though I'm not in army, but children looking at me are scared. Maybe I look scary or something like that. But to be very frank, sir, it is the school's culture.
Open your video, ma'am. We'll tell you if you're looking scary or not.
Sir, problem is that I lose connection, so I've kept my video off, sir. So, sir, the thing is that it's the school culture when we talk about discipline and how we get them ahead. It helps us and it helps the children. What I would like to ask you, sir, everybody is talking about this pandemic. Can we just stop talking about this and wait for things to improve? Because it has only created negativity everywhere. See, it has come. You and me cannot change it. You and me cannot run away from it. We have to follow the policy of just leaving it and we will be happy souls. I think you will agree with me, sir.
I agree with you. I didn't anywhere in my thing I spoke about anticipation, various other things. I never mentioned anything about pandemic.
Yes, sir, but everybody is talking about only pandemic.
Sanjay ji, abhi bhi aapke sawal mein, in your question, you have raised the issue of the word pandemic.
Yes, sir. So I really want positivity around, sir. Only then we will move ahead.
I'm fully with you. But what I'm saying is, the mere fact that you asked the question, that come into your head, then only you can ask the question.
Yes, sir. Every webinar is revolving around the same thing.
I fully agree with you. What am I saying? The fact that you raised the question on the pandemic means the thought of pandemic came into your head. So you
yes,
are,
sir.
What you are blaming others for, you are perpetuating yourself, ma'am, indirectly.
Sir, the thing is, everybody is talking, and the moment you on the TV, the news also goes on with the same thing.
Precisely, ma'am. That's what I'm saying. That's precisely. I tell you, as a leader, as I said, you have to look ahead. I'll give you an issue. Today, for example, with my senior leadership, I am now talking, or I am for myself working at 15th August and beyond. Up to 15th August, my directions, my interaction with my senior faculty is over. You understand? I'm telling you about operations and planning.
Yes, sir.
Either we have normalcy, we will have physical classes, online classes, mix of both, whatever. All options ke liye, I have given instructions to my two headmasters and my director. Right? So I'm looking at August and beyond. So if I'm looking at August and beyond means I'm looking beyond pandemic. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir. 100%. 100%.
So we as education leaders have to drive this movement or looking beyond the pandemic. And as I said, are we preparing for the next crisis which may come in 4 or 5 years? For example, in all probability, because of what has happened worldwide, there may be a second depression coming like it came in the 1929 or that area in another 5 years. Right? It may not happen. We don't know. We are not forecasters. But are we catering for our students to be moving into a world where there might be a depression, and therefore are we giving them the tools to be able to survive in that environment? Who is discussing that in your academic discussions in your schools and all? Are you discussing these things amongst heads of schools? Are we discussing these things? No. So you are right, because we are focusing on today and not focusing on tomorrow. The day,
yes, sir.
At least in the education fraternity, we should focus on tomorrow. Let the newscasters, you see, they need instant news, instant TRP. So वो तो आज की बात करेंगे.
हाँ जी.
Every day there will be a headline saying highest spike in cases recorded. Road same headline. So let them do their bit, but let us not fall into their trap.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
I missed out on this question. Pramod ji, I missed out you. You can ask your question and then I could go to the next question. Pramod Sharma. Yeah.
No, Pramod ji, before you ask your question, can I say something?
Yeah, please, sir. Go ahead.
आपका नाम सुनते ही मैं घबरा गया because one of my predecessors in this job in Mayo College, his name is Pramod Sharma only.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Gaurav, sir, first of all. And Kulkarni, sir, I belong to Rashtriya Indian Military College, Dehradun. Okay. So my question is, sir, related to teaching profession only. What is the one quality that impresses you the most in any teacher, and you think, we all teacher invariably should possess that quality, apart from adaptability or dependability, what you just mentioned?
Dependability, of course, is there. That is seen by us. The biggest quality I see in a teacher is a student feedback. And what is the student feedback I'm looking for? Would I like to attend the next class of this teacher? It is better than every PTM in the world. if a student tells me at random when I'm boarding school, say we run into each other, would you like to go and attend Mr. Pramod Sharma's class tomorrow? And he said, हाँ sir, I look forward to Mr. Pramod Sharma's classes. इससे अच्छी आपको तारीफ मिल नहीं सकती. So how to create that connect with the student? Let me tell you, if RIMC has produced such illustrious people, ask any of them, do they remember ki when they were in grade 9th, in the physics chapter number 3, they were taught some whatever subject? No, but they will remember that teacher. They will remember their instructor.
Exactly.
Right? All of you will remember some teacher. You will not remember what subject you did. Can I ask you, any of you, to remember?
Yeah, I remember my tuition teacher, Dr. O.P. Kaushik.
जो भी है, you will only remember the teacher. So therefore, a teacher who creates that connect with the student, even if he is not so competent and not such a subject matter specialist, the student will say, sir, I would like to go to that class. And the moment the student tells me that I'd like to go to that class, मेरे तरफ से वो teacher मंजूर है. बाकी सब गुनाह माफ है.
Sir, but I have I'm slightly skeptical. I'm like, I respect what you said, but there flip side of that can be like, if I want my feedback to be very, very much correct, no, so I might somewhere compromise on my content also. Like some teachers in organization, they can give.
I agree with you. There is a temptation to go for cheap popularity.
Yeah.
And especially in some of the senior classes.
Because if I'm very strict, so obviously they would not like me.
I will give you some, I see your point, very valid. Especially in senior classes, I'm not talking about board classes, senior classes. There will be a tendency to go with cheaply popular students, teachers, बोले अच्छा सर हमको free lesson दे दो, या हमको library में जाने दो, या some such thing, right? And he'll be a very popular guy. Or will tell them only stories and not teach the matter. Agreed. Let me tell you, we have named after one of the teachers who were there in my time an award in our school for the best teacher of the year. Right? It is 2 years old now. The one who got it the year before last has a reputation of being the strictest teacher on the campus. And it is given by a peer group assessment of class 12 boys. Okay. He's not social. He's a teetotaler. He's vegetarian. He makes no conversation with anybody. He does not socialize. Nothing. All right. And this collectively, students in a secret ballot voted him as the best teacher. Even his peer group got surprised. Iska naam kahan se aa gaya? Nobody questions his capability. But the students saw through his unlimited sincerity towards them. Unlimited sincerity. Seen? So over a period of time, as I said, you can fool your seniors, you can't fool your subordinates. So in the short term, this cheap popularity will pay you. In the long term, बच्चे आपके, they will see through you. And they will respect you for this. And इस teacher को बाद में भी स्कूल में रहते हुए गाली देंगे कि बहुत strict है. बोर्ड के एग्जाम के पहले ये said, अच्छा तूने मुझे वो डाउट पूछा था, वो 11 बजे बोर्डिंग हाउस में पहुंच जाएंगे, उठ जा, तूने वो डाउट पूछा था, अभी क्लियर कर, फिर सोना. You get me? They can see through the commitment that you have. And these same students will remember this gentleman many years later. I can promise you this. So that is why, as the head of the school, when I get feedback from random, not one person, students' feedback. And let me also tell you, those cheap popularity teachers, na students ही बताते हैं. उनकी क्लास बड़ा मजा आता है sir. That's the only time we get a break. No, so it gets too intense. Sir. 7 lessons in a day is too much. We look forward to his lesson because we get a break.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Neha Bahuguna, your question.
Yeah, thank you, Gaurav.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening, General Kulkarni. Good evening, General Kulkarni. Yeah. My question is, General Kulkarni, in the present scenario, you know, see, we know that extracurricular activities, for children, it plays a very important role. But in the present scenario, we are able to give them the learning that is possible through the internet, the virtual classes that we are able to provide to them. But we're not able to provide extracurricular activities to children. Children are stuck up at home. They are not able to, that emotional, I would say that factor is actually troubling the children. So what do you suggest? What should we do? How should we guide parents, and what support we should seek from them in this aspect?
Based in which town, ma'am? Where are you based?
We are in Jaipur.
Oh, You're lucky. You're in a bigger town than I am. I'm in Ajmer, small town guy. Okay. The day we finished the phase 1 of the academics and we had that, what you call PA1, the assessment 1 and all, the day it finished, the very same day, in groups, 8 specific groups, we started a digital theatre workshop. Okay. Right? And you'll be surprised. And we said it to
right. I know that, yeah.
Parents also, if they wish to join. So amongst the junior kids, the parents really had a blast with the kids in that digital theatre workshop. I'm giving one example. To the youngest children that we have, if we start from grade 4, for example, we have a program when they are in school to teach them magic tricks. I mean, they're very simple tricks, but to those kids, it's a big thing. Okay. So they were having online magic classes and they were told, okay, after that, you come up with some magic trick and show it to us on your video. All right. So debates, drama, song, you name it, whatever are the extracurricular activities in school. The only thing that they are not being able to do is the physical work they should do in our workshop. We have a fairly elaborate workshop where they go and work with their hands. That they couldn't do, I agree. So see, you cannot substitute it for that. It can only supplement to some extent. So, but under the circumstances, there was a lot could be done. There was a lot being done by them. If you see on our social media of our page of our school, you'll find so many things kids have done and put up on that. And they have collaborated amongst themselves. Class 7 boys and all, they made a film on World Environment Day amongst themselves.
Yes, sir, I follow that. But see, it depends. Like your school is a big school. It's like you have students coming from all over the country. From a place like Jaipur, where students from, parents are from multiple backgrounds. It's not possible every time that every parent can give that exposure to the child. They might not be able to, whatever we are suggesting, they might not be able to follow it or something like that.
And this online,
so how do we manage that?
This online thing is a great leveler. The advantage of a big school like mine is gone. Because digital theatre workshop aap bhi kara sakte hain. Paise bhi nahi diye.
I understand, yeah.
I got a theatre group from Delhi to do it without paying a penny to them. So it is the same. Now let us say out of your 100 children, 30 don't have access to good broadband and all at home. But at least 70 children can take part now, number one.
Yes.
Number two, that can be recorded. No, that can be recorded.
That is happening, yes.
And that can be sent to them. They will not have the same experience of the live theatre workshop, but they will get a sense of it, ki kya hua tha usme.
Right.
Seen? So I agree there are difficulties. I'm not saying no, but to say that only the best or the richest of schools or the biggest of schools can do it is wrong. In fact, in the present circumstances, the limitation is only in the mind. How many of you heard of a gentleman called Dr. Sugata Mitra? He had done a very famous experiment many years ago called Hole in the Wall. Aap jaake YouTube pe dekhna. And you will see from Tamil Nadu in slums, without knowing a word of English, saw this program on TV with no controls, no keyboard, nothing. They were just watching and they figured out what it is about. So I don't agree at present. Yes, now for example, there are certain facilities in my school physically which I agree many schools cannot afford. For example, we provide a horse riding facility, we have 70 horses. Obviously you can't do that. So I'm not saying, but at this time, in the online world, almost everything anybody can do, everyone else can do. Now there is a problem of connectivity in some places. So please target your school. People, webinars, as you said, roz ye baat hoti hai. People are worried, sir, what about the 33% who don't have any internet in the remote villages? Are you running their schools? No, you worry about your school first. Yes. So if there is any segment of your school who's getting left out, please see how can you help him out. There were some teachers who were having difficulty because the lockdown happened suddenly and they were teaching from their mobile and all, which is not good enough, acceptable quality to me. The moment the lockdown is, the first thing we did was we made sure they got hold of dumbbells. See, yep. So whatever is the limitation of your students in your school, try and make up for those. Similarly, as I said, you can have this recorded. You can even have these things recorded on a pen drive and sent to their house or ask them to collect it. Because you'll be surprised. What is actually troubling the parents during this online phase, I'll tell you the most. Many schools are trying to replicate the school experience at home. And I've given this example. Yes. Don't behave like you have a fancy power backup in a mall. You light gayi and you plug in into the power backup. No, you got to behave like you're at home. You don't have a power backup. बिजली गई और आपके पास इन्वर्टर है. अब वो इन्वर्टर आपको पता है 4 घंटे 6 घंटे चलेगा. So you have to be very careful. कौन सी लाइट ऑन करनी है, कौन सा पंखा ऑन करना है, एसी बंद करो. You understand? And you have to run the school that way. Despite all the resources I have, we never ran our academic program for more than 2 hours a day throughout this period.
Yes.
Okay, despite, I mean, there's no issue of connectivity with any of my students. But despite that, we never did more because you cannot replicate the same experience of school. So what happens then? It is good for parents but bad for students. Parents say, "Chalo 4 घंटे फंस गए यहाँ पे जान छूटी बच्चे से." Otherwise, they were all sitting at home getting at each other. Okay, ma'am. So don't mind my saying so, but I disagree with this idea that only the well-endowed schools can do co-curriculars in this. You can do so many things. You can do an online painting competition. उसको बोलो WhatsApp पे भेजो. Do you know I send most of my communication to parents on WhatsApp videos?
Yeah. That's a perfect way of communicating. Yes, we are also following this.
Are majority of them not having WhatsApp? Most of them have smartphones.
No, they all have WhatsApp. WhatsApp is one medium which is available with everybody.
My official messages to my parents are going on 21st of March before the lockdown started, and I had announced that my kids are off home. I had a video address to my parents and saying by 25th you're starting online, are you already ready? Okay. So my point is, and I just on WhatsApp I passed it to all parents. I didn't hire a studio and broadcast it on national TV. So why I'm so much about all this, ma'am. There's a temptation amongst us to not introspect and not put in that extra effort to come up with a bright idea, and blame it on circumstances. Right? How you respond to circumstances is in your hands. Right. Circumstances are not in your hands.
Okay. General Sahab, I think you pointed out well that the technology is a leveler. It's a great leveler. In fact, that's the way one has to see. Sadhana Jha, your question, ma'am, and General have how much time? Do we take up 2 more questions because there are 4 in the queue? I'm asking you, sir. I'm asking you that we have 4 questions in total. However, I will because we are already at 5:27.
Notwithstanding my age, I think I'll survive.
So
if the audience can survive me, I'll survive them.
Sadhana Jha, and let me ask quickly 209089 आपका जो भी नाम है, but अभी आपका डिस्प्ले नाम यही आ रहा है. तो आपका क्वेश्चन इसके बाद. Amrita Kaur, your question will be the second last, and last question is Vaishali Seth. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Gaurav sir, and good evening to everyone. Good evening, sir. Sir, the thing is that we were talking about values, giving to the children, and taking classes teachers, they are also teaching values and ethics. But it is the most sad part that most of the teachers, they forget about the values themselves, and they are absolutely not accepting their faults. What should be done for such teachers?
Ma'am, again, I say it is not a short term or a quick fix thing. In the short run, you can call them, counsel them, even perhaps admonish them or punish them or whatever means are there.
Right.
That is not the happy way to do it, ma'am. That's not the successful way of doing it. You have to create this culture. It's like this. Let us say a teacher himself or herself comes late into class. That you've lost the moral right to tell the students why you come late. You understand? So, over a period of time, the value of, let me tell you, I also faced this problem when I came and joined. Today, it's a non-issue for me. I know my staff will come on time when there's a session. Right?
Right.
I'm not talking about when they are individually there and I'm not watching, because that is the higher level of values. That good self-discipline is and nobody's watching you. But I know this much, if they know that I'm part of that session, they will be there on time. Not because I will scold them or abuse them or something publicly or anything. No. They just know that, look, walking in after the session has started is going to be so deeply embarrassing to their own self-esteem that it did not allow it to happen. The same way, as you said, every teacher has to teach values.
Yes, sir.
The best value taught to the students is what they see you doing.
Yeah.
What you're doing is the best value. And that has to be, therefore, I'll tell you, for example, during this period that is going on, how many, on an average, how many sessions or how many webinars are you having internally for your own staff, ma'am?
But just now we are not having. Yes, previously last month we had webinars like connecting.
Is there any constraint or any issue why it can't happen? On 11th of May, we finished our academic for phase 1. All right. But on an average, I'm having minimum 2, but definitely, 2 for sure. Most times we are having 3 webinars a week. Today in the morning, we had a webinar on the myths of the night sky on astronomy. Luckily, we have a astronomy society and all that in our school. All right. You will say, yes. Syllabus se kya lena dena hai? You understand? But you see the value of this webinar today taken by my head of physics.
Okay.
And I have also told them they will not take it like a keynote speaker. They will take it like an interactive panel. So there were 3 teachers from physics department, 1 from the English department, the director of sports, and our Hindi teacher was also a bit of a Jyotish. So we try to bring in astrology with astronomy. And all in the space of 1 hour. Right?
Yes, sir.
आपको किसने बोला नहीं करने के लिए? उसमें क्या होता है? You are creating trust and confidence between the staff members. You are creating teamwork. We are all talking about this 21st century skill, collaboration and all that. When you are not doing it amongst your own staff, the students से कैसे कराओगे आप?
Yes, sir. Of course, of course.
How? I'm not suggesting you replicate what I'm doing. A million ways of doing it. Each one will do your own style, whichever way you like. But that the possibilities are there are enormous. And let us say some teacher says I'm busy today and I will not attend. I don't take attendance on these webinars, but I can see, the thing comes, how many participants come. I can make out, and I can tell you there's almost 100% attendance. Almost 100% attendance. Because now they don't want to miss out. And more teachers are coming forth and volunteering. Can I also conduct a webinar? Right? Have you conducted a webinar for your teachers on how to conduct a webinar itself? You may have done it. If not, yes, we started with that. That how to conduct a webinar itself is an art form. For example, you can take the format of a keynote speaker. You can take the format of a panel discussion. You can take the format of an interviewer or question answer like Gaurav has been doing with me. And then, of course, open it up to the audience. There are a variety of formats, and each format varies. You can have a format in which you have a presentation, so you do screen sharing. In another, you don't do screen sharing. In one, you have a poll, or you have a monkey survey, whatever. I'm just saying. The point is, all this is going to improve their pedagogy, and it's going to pay off to them even in the live class tomorrow when the students come back.
Yes, sir.
Seen, which is why I'm saying, talking of the future, this is a good time. Now we are already in the deep end of the pool. कपड़े गीले हो गए, कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है ना? अब तो गीले हो ही गए. So let's take फायदा. Now let's not jump out of the swimming pool. Let's stay there and take advantage.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So these are just some thoughts. I mean, I'm sure many of you are doing things and doing it differently and better even perhaps. I don't know.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
209089, please ask your question.
When I was young, people had only 3 digits. It was called 007. Ye to abhi 6 digits.
209089.
Yeah, please come. What's your name, please?
Don't say James Bond. Okay, never mind. So I think we'll move to the next question. Amrita Kaur, Pam, please go ahead. Ms. Kaur, if you could unmute yourself and ask your question, please. Yeah.
Yes, I'm in here, sir.
Please go ahead.
Mr. Gaurav, I am really feeling obliged that you made me hear a man who is far from the reach for most of the public. And let me tell you, I am natively from Ajmer. And since childhood, every child in Ajmer actually has a dream to see Mayo from inside. It's their fantasy. And my fantasy came true when I got a chance. I got my center of board examination in there. So I finally was.
Come and visit school. Be my guest. Yeah.
What, sir?
I said, please be my guest and come and visit our school again.
In simple terms,
Sure, of course. This time I am not in Ajmer, but next year I'll be there in Ajmer in summer, and I'll surely see you there, sir.
Please.
So, Kulkarni sir, I'm extremely glad to hear from you. And Mayo has been working actually very secretively. And it excels in creating, leaders, not only leaders, it creates inspirations for the public.
Did we lose her? I think we lost her.
Can't hear.
So,
Yeah, please go ahead.
hello?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So, sir, I wanted to know what are your pillars or fundas of running the institution, because you have been leading the topmost of the institution. So, I just wanted to know your fundas.
Ma'am, number one, trust. Nobody sends a kid to a boarding school if you don't trust that person. You will not send your child on the street even for 1 hour in the city you live in or in the town you live in. So if you are sending your kid for 9 months and for maybe 7, 8, 10 years, then it's based on a very deep trust and a feeling that the school will take better care of the child than the parents themselves can. Then and only then will a child come to a boarding school. Number one.
Of course, yes.
Trust is number one. Number two is transparency. As I said, this is also part of ethics. If you are being hypocritical, you will be seen pretty soon.
Okay.
Number three, even as we value, we are nearly 150 years old, even as we value our heritage and tradition, and it reflects in many of our ceremonies and all, we are very conscious that we have to keep reinventing ourselves. So for example, we are running a 10-year program called Vision 150, because in 2025, we'll be 150 years old. So we are running there. We will be at the cutting edge of all pedagogy and other things. Like I told you, 3 years ago, we were training on Microsoft 365 for full months. Obviously, it's a sign that we want to keep reinventing ourselves. Number four now. Whatever is the latest in pedagogy, right? We call it ancient wisdom and modern technology.
Okay.
Everything new is not necessarily good. What your grandparents told you was very sensible. Even today, in this time, they will tell you adrak khalo, ya lasan khalo, ya ye khalo, ya pepper khalo.
Right.
So please understand, ancient wisdom is very important. And we tend to disrespect our traditions and ancient wisdom. For example, values. Values are eternal. Is integrity or something fashionable because internet came? No. Integrity was always valued. Was trust valued before? It always was. Right?
Yeah.
Therefore, we have to have ancient wisdom and use all the modern tools that go with it. So whatever is new pedagogy or old pedagogy, storytelling is a pedagogy from our times of Rama and Mahabharata.
Yeah.
Modern pedagogy. Unfortunately, in the era I grew up, or even I find many of my teachers, when they studied or in B.Ed colleges, you sat and then the teacher came and blah, 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 blasted away, threw information at you and walked out. So storytelling, drama, as I mentioned to you, we had this theatre digital workshop, magic, dance, music, sports. For example, we are blessed. We have a museum in our school, a fairly good museum.
Yeah.
Incorporated object-based learning into our curriculum. Right?
Yeah.
Now, this is just good luck. Everyone can't do it, but you can still do it if you want to, because you can take a glass of water in your school, if you have a building in 1.5 acres, and use that as a basis of learning. You can go of botany, of geography, of history, 50 other things you can come out just from where that glass came from. It is so therefore, and the fifth thing, which is the final pillar, is this culture of becoming a lifelong learner. If from the top of the school you don't have a culture of a lifelong learner and we rest on our laurels, if we are such a well-known brand, हमारा तो नाम बना हुआ है. See, in my tenure, I cannot damage the brand of my school. But I will not commit any error of commission. But I can have an error of omission, that I will fail to see the opportunities for my school in my tenure. And because when I go away 10, 20 down the road, we may be behind the loop because I missed a trick or I failed to see an opportunity or I didn't do what I should have done in my time. Today, I am reaping the benefit of a reputation of a school which was generated by my predecessors.
Okay.
So therefore, on one hand, it's easy because we are well recognized. On the other hand, it is tougher to run a school like Mayo College than some of the other schools because there is too much at stake in this. And which is why I was telling Gaurav, I said this lifelong learner thing is not a cliche for us. It is a way of life. And my teachers who are not doing it, and I've told them, all teachers, please pay attention. In the next 5 years, the good teachers will rise phenomenally in demand and the mediocre teachers will fall by the wayside.
Right.
We are huge churning in the education space because the content delivery portion of your teaching is gone now. It's all on the internet. We don't need you for that. So it has to be for value addition, for co-creation with the students. And I gave an example in the workshops I conducted recently, that earlier you were in the driver's seat and the student was sitting next to you and you explained to him, beta, ye hai, wo hai. Now, the student has come into the driver's seat if you are doing it correctly.
Yes.
That's the jargon, student-centric learning. But a time is coming, you're going to have a driverless car and you're going to be a fellow passenger with your student.
Right.
Are we moving towards it or only talking about it? So you might think that I sit on a very large campus and a very beautiful thing. As you can see, the nature of my job involves me to work hard personally also, and which is why I am learning almost on a daily basis.
Right. So this is your कह लो कि छाप है जो कि स्कूल पे है because this is your nature, a lifelong learner, and this you have given to your institution.
I have not given. It is what I imbibed in the institution 50 years ago.
Okay.
My sir was an alumni of the same institution. Having said this, last question, General Saab, and we will take your leave then. Vaishali Seth, your question.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Gaurav sir, and I'm very thankful to you that you have given me a chance to put up my words. Good evening, Kulkarni sir. It's so nice to see you. हम तो कभी आपके दरबार में आ न सके और ना आ पाएंगे, परंतु आपको यहाँ पर देखकर तो बहुत खुशी हो रही है।
कोई बात नहीं, से दरबार है, अंदर से एक कुटिया है, झोपड़ी है।
नहीं सर, ये तो आपका कहना है इस तरीके से। सर, मेरा एक जानना, बहुत छोटी सी चीज मैं पूछना चाह रही थी कि हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि किताब साफ रहेगी या कॉपी साफ रहेगी तो उस पर हम लिख सकेंगे, तो हम अपने ब्रेन को क्यों नहीं मेडिटेशन करके, कोई बात नहीं करता इस चीज के ऊपर कि हम रोज 10-15 मिनट या 20 मिनट मेडिटेशन करें और अपने ब्रेन को क्लियर करें, so that we can put the whole day's work in our brain, and then next morning again or in the evening we meditate again and clear our minds of the day and then sleep well. And also again in the morning we do meditation, or we meditate for 15-20 minutes and gets up and go for the day. ये मैं ट्रांसेंडेंटल मेडिटेशन की बात कर रही हूँ सर, कि क्यों हम अपने बच्चों को नहीं सिखाते हैं इस चीज को, बहुत से स्कूल इसको फॉलो नहीं करते हैं।
मैं आपको बताऊंगा, I'll answer this in two ways. आपके कंप्यूटर स्क्रीन पे, डेस्कटॉप पे एक आइकॉन है, एक सिंबल है that looks like a waste paper basket.
Correct, recycle bin.
हाँ, yes. आप मुझे बताइए, in the teaching fraternity, people talk about jargon, we must learn but unlearn the old things. How many of us honestly unlearn and throw out the old things which we don't need anymore? So what is happening is we are trying to learn more and more things and clutter the mind. And if you clutter the mind, your processor starts working slower and slower. That is a slower and slower.
Right.
Right.
But still we don't learn anything from that.
No.
हमें क्या करना चाहिए? हम सीखते।
Why can't you and I can do it ना? वो recycle bin को भर के रखो रोज. The more you throw out, the better it is. Number one. Yes. Number two, Let me tell you, even as somebody asked me about extracurricular activities going on. We've been running a yoga program, and sometimes we can do it for show. On 21st, we will do for show the World Yoga Day and all. But on a running basis, we are doing a yoga program with our students because they can do it at home. The other thing we're doing with them is a very basic form of vipassana, in which the first part, which is anapana, in which you only have to, focus on your breathing 10 minutes a day. And some parents asked us, ये क्यों करा रहे हो आप हमसे? हमारे तो फलाने गुरुजी है, उनके स्टाइल से हम मेडिटेट करते हैं. हमने कहा आनापाना has nothing to do with any गुरुजी, और आपका अगर कोई गुरुजी है आप उसके स्टाइल में कीजिए, हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. But please get into this habit. It is not only meditation. Meditation does not give you any superior thoughts, let me tell you. Yeah. Meditation allows, you might say that this man is saying something radical, but meditation only provides you with one important asset and one big फायदा. और ये फायदा ये है कि it allows your mind to be free of thoughts.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Which translated, ma'am, means that you get used to the idea of boredom. This is something nobody talks about much. That most of our life, all of us, how much of time do we spend? You might see on social media that कोई beach में दिखा रहा है, कोई resort पे अपने आप को दिखा रहा है. But in reality, don't we spend most of our life in boredom? Most of us spend most of our life in boredom, right? And therefore, meditation teaches you how to deal with boredom, right? And let me tell you, go back and see all the research and see all the top people. All the creative ideas have come out of boredom. It's when you're getting bored that you think of something which is distracting, which we find students, you say, they are distracted. And I keep trying to tell my teachers, identify the distraction of that child and take activity out of it. Like just right now, I mean, now you'll say, sir, you're wasting your time at your age, but I'm doing I'm training myself on doing poetry through gamification. You might say gamification is for science, coding and all that. Yes, behind it is coding and all is there. But I'm trying to do it in poetry so that because communication is one of the biggest single skills that you need going forward. So if I can learn and understand how it happened, then I can make my faculty and my students learn about seeing, because you will agree, most students are reluctant to study English as the subject, but it's compulsory to karna hi padega. And yet communication is a big thing. I mean, I'm sure Gaurav, bulk of your business model runs on your smart communication skills, right?
Sir, sorry to interrupt. कम्युनिकेशन हमारी कंट्री में एक बहुत बड़ी चीज है कि फादर और सन में कम्युनिकेशन नहीं होता है. मदर और बच्चे में तो होता है, हमेशा होता है, हर एज ग्रुप पे होता है. और फादर और सन में कम्युनिकेशन होना बहुत जरूरी है, बहुत जरूरी है. Because I have seen it in my family. My husband is very much connected to his son. And he told me once that तुम अपने पिताजी को बहुत प्यार करते हो, माँ मैं हूँ, मैंने सब कुछ किया है तुम्हारे लिए, और तुम्हारा सबसे ज्यादा ध्यान अपने पिता की तरफ होता है. और तो उसने मुझे जवाब दिया कि माँ तो सबके करती है, पिता सबके नहीं करते हैं. And that is the reason I respect and love him so much.
See, ma'am, it's like this. Why does this happen? The father and son don't have communication.
Yeah.
Why does it happen? You only answer me, and you'll find the answer is with you. It's happening in your family, you're lucky. But why does it not happen? I will tell you two reasons for it. Growing up at a very young age, psychologically, a child sees the father as a role model. Bada hoke, it's like a Maruti car jab aayi thi, bada hoke main Mercedes banunga. It's like that. Okay, father is Mercedes and the child is Maruti car. Right? That's the first part of the relationship. The second part of the relationship is that father become judgmental. तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया? जब हम तुम्हारी उम्र के थे हम ऐसे नहीं करते थे. Whereas with mother 10 गलतियां माफ होती हैं और 11वीं गलती करने के लिए वो आपको इजाजत देती है. Have you understood? So wherever the fathers have understood this and changed the relationship,
yes,
that you listen to your child without being judgmental, your child will speak.
this is what I have seen in my family, that the child is never questioned by the father. That I have put in your account this much money, then I don't ask you that what have you done with that money. I trust.
So same way,
yeah.
For teachers, ma'am, especially for male teachers and all with their students, it's very important that we are not judgmental. तुमने ऐसे क्यों किया? आप सिर्फ उसकी गलती टोक रहे हो. उसके पीछे क्या हो रहा था उसके मन में आपको पता नहीं है. So that's why I always tell my students, I'll never tell you what is right and wrong. You decide what is appropriate and inappropriate. The day you can decide for yourself, we are speaking a common language. See, so what you're saying is true. In majority of families, there's a poor connection for these two reasons, that growing up. And talking about the psychology of becoming Mercedes when I grow up, I want to leave a thought with all teachers for the future. That in time to come, and this is the time to do it, as I said, don't wait for the next pandemic or next crisis. The time has now come, and based on the question aapne pucha, I think Sadhana Jha ma'am ne bhi pucha tha, that the behavioral related issues, discipline and other things. In time to come, today all schools have counselors and all. In time to come, every single teacher has to be taught behavioral science and the science of dealing with children. Every teacher, irrespective of what's your subject matter expertise. Because as I said, that connection has to be established between the teacher and the child. And unless you can get under the skin of that child, you will never be able to do it. I have a question, parting question, if I can ask Gaurav, you only asking me questions.
Please, sir.
And this is for your internal homework. You know, nowadays, because of this SMS and WhatsApp and all, kids use abbreviations like LOL and all, you know, whatever.
LOL.
How many of you, and don't have to answer me here, answer yourself, how many of you know 100 of these such abbreviations? Like LOL and, you know, various other things that kids do. Can you list out 100? You don't, mere abhi ab kuch mat kehna bhi. Apne aap se puch lo. Right? And ask your kid to write down 100 if you have a small kid at home or in aapki class. वो आपको 200 लिख के देगा, not 100. The day you can write 100, the day you can write 100, the kids are with you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. It was really wonderful to be interactive and to have seen you, because I told you in the beginning itself that आपके यहाँ हम आ ना पाएंगे और आपको हम दोबारा देख ना पाएंगे. ये इतना अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया है गौरव जी ने कि हम आपको देख सकते हैं और आपसे बात भी कर पा रहे हैं. Thank you so much, Gaurav, and thank you so much, sir, for being with us today.
Gaurav, you are a very attentive man. Did you pay attention to what she said?
I did, sir.
I'm always attending his webinar. I'm always there.
इन्होंने कहा कि हम सर को दोबारा देख नहीं पाएंगे. It's a big hint to you, इनको दोबारा मत बुलाना.
अरे दोबारा देख पाएंगे तो हमारी किस्मत है, सर.
Thank you, Vaishali ji. Thank you for your question. And in fact, I think 2 घंटे यही दर्शाते हैं कि हम लोग जनरल साहब आपको दोबारा चाहेंगे. मैं तो यही आंसर दे सकता हूँ आपको और क्या बोल सकता हूँ. But having said this, thank you very much.
I'm very sorry if it has been transferred like that. But then I'm talking about myself, that whether I will be there or not.
No, not at all.
Ma'am, one of the most important traits a school leader must have is humor.
Sense of humor, yes.
Otherwise, you will be stressed out all the time.
Correct. Thank you, and thank you everyone who were able to join us today and who could stay back. So, General Saab, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Among many lessons, if I think one can point out, one of the things which were highlighted was a lifelong learner is something which we can take back, all of us, in fact. So.
And also trust
dependability. Most of them, there were so many keywords. If I may say, it was all rich in terms of our understanding. But thank you for your time, sir. Always a pleasure having you with us, if I may say the least. And we look forward to see you again. Yes.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful session, sir. A lot of learning.
It was great hearing you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Wonderful
Thank you.
session.
Come to you today.
By each word.
Thank you so much.
Session. Thank you so much.
I will take
Thank you,
leave.
Gaurav ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And do come to RMC someday.
Yes. I've been on your managing committee at one time. Anyway, that's a different story. When I come, I'll tell you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Deepak, bye bye.
Bye,
Gaurav
sir.
sir,
Bye bye.
thank
Take
you
care,
so
sir.
much.